Taoiseach, all of our hearts go out to the 5-year-old girl who was the victim and her carer of a horrendous and tragic event. But the expressions of bewilderment from the government or the guards about how the events that then unfolded could have happened are quite staggering, to be honest with you. People, not just us, but others who are watching, the far right, have been warning how dangerous these people are and the agenda of violence and hate and racism and division that they are actively trying to stoke up. And they are out for blood. What we saw the other day is a warning, a chilling warning, because these people want to take it to the next level. And tens of thousands of workers who keep our health service going, who work in the shops and supermarkets, who work on the building sites, who work driving our buses, are now in fear. Working people in fear from these so-called patriots who do little or nothing to actually stand up for working people and the fights they should be having over housing, cost of living and health. No, their answer to every question is to target innocent migrants and people of different skin colour or sexuality or some other vulnerability. They are preachers of hate and division. And our society needs to recognise that. It's not about new legislation, it is about recognising the very specific and worrying threat of the far right and their fascist ideology.
And certainly last Thursday, I spoke at a business lunch, was back in the office that afternoon, and news was coming through of the terrible stabbing events in Parnell Square. And the moment I heard that it was being reported that the assailant was an Algerian national, I was concerned that there was going to be big trouble. And was in touch with the Minister for Justice about that within moments. I think putting about that information was very irresponsible, quite frankly, extremely irresponsible. And what we know now is that some of the victims come from a migrant background. We know that many of the people who intervened to save lives and stop it from being worse were of a migrant background. And while the current suspect is from a migrant background, more than 20 years in the country, an Irish citizen, not known to the Department of Social Welfare, and the more and more we find out about it, the more and more it is hard to understand exactly what happened, but we need to find out what did and why. Just in relation to Deputy Sullivan's question on the use of force, we ask Gardaí to use all necessary force to do their job and also to protect themselves, which is really important too. And what none of us want is excessive force. None of us want that to happen. And I know for the Gardaí it must be really hard to get it right. How much force is the right amount of force to use, and how do you make that decision in a rapidly developing situation when you don't necessarily know what's going on behind you or what's going on in other places too. And I think we have to make sure that they have the best equipment to protect themselves. And I think body cams are a big part of that, and Mr McEntee's reform programme includes that, and I hope we can have them very soon. CCTV is part of it as well, and also making sure that they have the best possible training as well, and that if they do use necessary force, that they're supported by Garda management, by government, and they will be. But I don't want anyone to get this wrong. If excessive force had been used, and thankfully it wasn't, we'd probably be having a different conversation today.